Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Valdo Kamara. I work for BLBC. You just concluded a meeting with the Interministerial Task Force on SGOV with a specific look at the action plan. How did the meeting go? What is being considered by you as the punishment of rapists?
Well, I received the document. I'm going to go home now and read the document, and then we'll take it further. But what I proposed in the document to invite the civil society and the judiciary to sit down so we can continue the discussion. It's a sensitive issue, it's a very important issue, and that's something that I believe that we can be successful in trying to protect our young men and women in this country. So I'm taking the document home now. I'm going to read it, and then we have another meeting. Then we will start now to engage those responsible to make this law, to enact law, or to change what needs to be changed, so we can protect our citizens.
The President, Julius Compton, a reporter for Fortune Television. Please tell us your personal view about the issue of rape and capital punishment.
Well, Julius, I think that we are aware, and in 2017, we marched in the street for rape, and I don't want to say something to you here. I remember because I've seen rape issue, Jefferson Cody went to jail on the Angel case. I know you were around. But we mended at the time, so we got in the street for rape to stop. So it's not something new. It's rape that's something should not be in our society. So we're doing our best to make sure that we stop rape, to find a way. But you have to be involved. Civil society need to be involved, and the legislature need to be involved. Together we can solve this issue. It's not bigger than us, but it's the way we promote it, it's the awareness we create that will make this step. The press have to join the government. The government and the entire government need to be together, and we need to bring you in, because you are the voice of the voiceless. So, and I'm inviting you now to join, to create awareness. Liberians are serious for rape. Maybe this year we'll all work together to stop to this menace to society. So that I think it's important.
Mr. President, I'm Wozi from Daily Observer newspaper. You did not show up to receive the petition. What message you did send? And secondly, there's call for the decentralization of the criminal code across the 15 countries. What do you make of it?
I don't make the law. I interpret what comes to me. And I think that, again, I'll be very honest with you. I work in the government. I'm in the executive. We have the first branch of government, which is the legislature. And, I have a responsibility to the people of Nigeria, and they also have a responsibility to me. I am the executive. I have deputies. Whenever you have issues and you bring it to me, if I cannot receive it, I have my deputy to receive it. So if you don't give your message to the deputy that I sent, then you don't want to, you don't want me to know what the issues are. Now, before they got in the street, those that were marching for rape, which is the right thing that they did, we started the conversation on July 29th. Just the other day we were in the street. But on July 29th, we got the issue to the same place here to talk about rape. And that's how the general minister went back to find a way how we can continue this rape issues. So it's not something new. Now, if you were trying to march in the street to showcase, to create awareness, and you need a document or a note to me, if I'm not available, then if I send a deputy to collect your consent note or your document, then for the respect of the country, of the executive, of the leadership that you put in place, then I thought you should give the note. Whoever receive it is not what you're looking at. It's the message going to the person you want to get to. So that going forward, I mean, people work with me, and they are my soldiers, and these are my deputies. If I send them, then you need to give them a message, and I sure the message will come to me. Because in my office, a lot of letters come. They don't come directly to me, but I see it because I have somebody that brings it to me. So take heed to that and continue to be respectful. We all citizens, we gotta respect each other. If you don't respect what we're doing as leaders, then we will behave in a way we always treat you good. But you gotta be cognizant that we are your leaders, no matter what. And you should be able to speak to us. And then the petition, I learned that they give it to other people. Did the person here went for it? No, they send an officer to get it from them. So if they're satisfied to give the petition on RIP to an officer in the embassy, and they refuse to give it to their own president or deputy for their president, they are not seeable. So I hope going forward we all will join to try to solve the RIP issue.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Have a beautiful day.
I'd like you to first comment on the question last asked to the President talking about the decentralization of criminal community that is responsible for criminal and rape cases.
What, I didn't get the question.
The decentralization of criminal community across the 15 countries to help solve the rape issue.
So what I want to tell y'all, you got a whole inter-ministerial task force here. So ask the questions to the different agencies that you are concerned in. I do not do laws, I do not do courts. The Minister of Justice is here, he will speak to that. Thank you.
So,
Any other questions?
what are the recommendations within the action plan?
There's a lot of recommendations. One of the first one that's going to be immediately enacted upon is the one for the national conference. We've been speaking about over the past couple of weeks. We presented that, and the President has endorsed that, to have a national conference on the issue around fighting rape. So that'll be something that will be convening coming up Thursday and Friday, 2 days of that. We'll have all the actors involved, international partners, civil society. Of course, because of the COVID and social distancing, we'll write to the National Civil Society organization to bring in the amount of people that can fit in the room, and we'll get designated people from our international partners also. And then we also are going to be reaching out to the judiciary and the legislators. So that is one of the first action that's going to happen. In there, you already know about the DNA machine, so that is happening. And then the President has endorsed the entire roadmap. The Minister of Information will give you a copy of the slideshow that we did in there, so at least you have some of the other meetings of the roadmap. Thank you.
I'd like you to first comment on the question last asked to the President talking about the decentralization of criminal community that is responsible for criminal and rape cases.
What, I didn't get the question.
The decentralization of criminal community across the 15 countries to help solve the rape issue.
So what I want to tell y'all, you got a whole inter-ministerial task force here. So ask the questions to the different agencies that you are concerned in. I do not do laws, I do not do courts. The Minister of Justice is here, he will speak to that. Thank you.
So,
Any other questions?
what are the recommendations within the action plan?
There's a lot of recommendations. One of the first one that's going to be immediately enacted upon is the one for the national conference. We've been speaking about over the past couple of weeks. We presented that, and the President has endorsed that, to have a national conference on the issue around fighting rape. So that'll be something that will be convening coming up Thursday and Friday, 2 days of that. We'll have all the actors involved, international partners, civil society. Of course, because of the COVID and social distancing, we'll write to the National Civil Society organization to bring in the amount of people that can fit in the room, and we'll get designated people from our international partners also. And then we also are going to be reaching out to the judiciary and the legislators. So that's one of the first action that's going to happen. In there, you already know about the VN machine, so that is happening. And then the president has endorsed the entire roadmap. The Minister of Information will give you a copy of the slideshow that we did in there, so at least you have some of the other meetings of the roadmap.
Well, the government has been working very hard in a systemic way to address the rape issue. Because for us to deal with this societal menace, it has to be an holistic approach. So for several weeks, we have been meeting as a task force so that we can look at this matter in a scientific way, in a social way, because it's not just a superficial issue. So if you look at the caliber and the composition of the task force, you see the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Health, the Minister of Youth and Sports, the Minister of Internal Affairs, the Minister of Justice, the Minister of Education, the Minister of Labor, and myself. Because we all realize that the issues are cross-cutting. Now, what has happened here today was a culmination of several months of work. We have interacted with experts, including our international partners, members of the civil society groups who are interested in solving the rape problem, and we have come up with a comprehensive document that we'll share with you, which the President has endorsed in a methodical fashion to deal with the issue of rape. We appreciate the citizens who came on the streets to create more awareness, because a protest march is about awareness. Now it is time for the heavy lifting. The President has instructed the Minister of State to call all of the parties involved, those who are interested in solving this problem, to come on the table so that we can work out a practical solution. Marching on the street is good, it creates awareness, but it cannot alone solve the problem. So our colleagues are here, the Minister of Finance, because we are preparing to commit more funding to the fight against rape. We are going to do a lot of work based on the proposal that we have with the codes, with the reenactment of some of the laws and penalties, and all of those are contained in that. We have a rape in the workplace, so the Minister of Labor is here. We have rape prominent among the young people in the country. The Minister of Youth and Sports is also here, so we are prepared to take questions for this to be an interactive arrangement, because the government is not taking this lightly. You know, it cannot be politicized because it's a societal issue that cuts across. This is why we have been working very hard, and we believe that we achieve our goals, and we are asking all of those Liberians who came on the streets and their leaders, the civil society, the international partners. The European Union has been working closely with the Ministry of Gender and the Ministry of Health for us to put into place those measures, practical measures that are needed. You heard the President, he wants tangible results. And this is why we are here today. We have a clear roadmap of what we want to achieve and how we want to achieve what we want to achieve. And we are seeking the support of all Liberians for us to achieve this. So if there's any questions, my colleagues will take them individually.
On the decentralization of criminal court that's responsible for the kind of SWV cases.
Well, as you are aware, we have 3 courts exclusively for rape, one in Masarado, one in Gong, and one in Lima. We are exploring means of extending them first to populated counties like Mount Gibby, like Zofa, like Grand Bassa. And we want to say that we are serious about the fight against rape. And we ask everybody to join this effort. You have rape in schools, you have rape at the workplace, even in churches. We arrested some pastors. As we speak, on Friday, we sentenced 2 persons. There are 2 more persons to be sentenced maybe tomorrow or the after by the Criminal Code E of Masarado County. So we are working, but of course, rape involves so many other things. Victims support, encouraging people to come up and report rape, encouraging people that this is not anything that is shameful, that you should be afraid of, or that will take whatever from you. You still remain who you are, and of course, you want to report this so that whoever is engaged in this act will be punished. Just victim support alone
It is the issue of death penalty part of the recommendation. I mean, the suggestion we make.
We made recommendations about improving the penalty. We are signatories to other treaties against the death penalty, but we did make recommendations about how the penalty can be increased.
Yes, since we signed that death penalty treaty, has it been domesticated in Liberia?
It is pending domestication.
Yeah, Minister, do we have the reference lab set up for, when the DNA machines come, so we just go right into technicality? And also to the Minister of Gender, do we have the government safe homes ready? Because we noticed that a lot of private safe homes available for victims. 2 questions.
The facility for the lab are being set up, and as soon as they arrive, the equipment, the machines arrive, we will be able to install them in the shortest time possible. This is to enhance our ability to collect evidence, to have more cogent and direct evidence. So we are interested in that, and it will speed up the cases, especially examination and conclusion of the evidence.
Also, don't think that when the DNA machines arrive, that will solve all of your problems. We have to apprehend the perpetrator first, be able to collect the evidence clean to match the evidence to the perpetrator. That's where the DNA will come in. So we have to do our job, making sure that the evidence is collected properly and passed all through a chain or a specimen collection chain to the proper authorities to be able to do the comparison between what we have collected on the victim and the person that has been arrested, in order to get, without a shadow of a doubt, that this person is guilty and was involved in that crime.
Gender Minister, I'd like to know what have you established as being the factor for the kind of increment in rape cases in the country?
The safe home first.
So the issue of safe home, we do have safe home, but you also remember we work with partners. So one of the proposals that you see in the roadmap is that we're asking to refurbish 3 more government-owned safe homes. We do have 4 government safe homes already ready to go, 3 more, and then in the long run do an additional 4, just so we're sure that we have safe homes in all of the counties, or most of the counties. And what was your question?
What have you established as the factors responsible for the increment of rape cases in the country?
Well, if you want to talk about increment, right now there's not an increment under COVID. So obviously there are factors we gotta research what the factors. Why? Is it because people are home more? Is it because the perpetrators see more people around because people are not going to work regularly, all of that? If you look at the numbers and compare the numbers in the 5 years. But what I know, I think maybe to answer your question, is now we have heightened awareness, because obviously maybe because more people are home, so everybody's attention is on it now, right? And then you have the advent of social media. So as soon as you see something, you say something, it's out there, people know about it, and so everybody is concerned, which is a very good thing. I think it's very important that we have this amount of awareness, so that hopefully it helps to lower the cases in the community. People are more involved, people are more informed, and people are looking and watching at those who will be perpetrators.
Let's talk to the Internet Affairs Minister. The issue of rape and LGBT issues, most of these cases and grave ones come from the interior parts. And talking about the Bakuru kids, how are chiefs and elders involved into all of this matter?
Thank you. What we did, Roman 6 to achieve, which has been proposed to our president and accepted and approved, is that the Ministry of Internal Affairs will be working with the traditional leaders to create more awareness in the countries, so people can know the consequence if you compromise rape cases. And even before the president coming out today, I've been on the radio last week telling our chief, and being part of our town hall meetings, that no chief is authorized to look into or try any rape case, because it is criminal in nature or it borders around human rights. So no thief is allowed. If you are caught, you will be dismissed. But that's not the solution. That create more awareness, and that is what exactly the roadmap wishes to achieve.
So finally, from the Minister of Health, are there plans to do a national database of DNA samples so as to, you know, not to wait to grab the perpetrator first before you can just take the sample and match it with what is the national database as it's doing in the West?
We have not reached that level yet, but it's something that we can do. We're not going to collect the people who are already in the prison and start collecting all of the samples to put in a database. But at least as we begin, those people's samples will be in the database.
I'm talking about every Liberian male, every Liberian. So grab our
we can't
DNA.
collect that. That means you and everybody. We can't do that. I think that would be even against the human rights.
We'll take the final question, and that will be it for the day. Any last question?
We can talk to the Minister of Labor. Labor cases. How frequent do you visit them?
Well, firstly, let me speak to the issue of rape at the workplace. Right now, as we speak, there are policies that prohibit the issue of sexual harassment. We used to talk about rape, and so we were going to be trying to reinforce the law. But the main issue is that if you check in the Street of Monrovia, we just informed the President that the Ministry of Labor and the City Council of Monrovia and Pilsen will develop, an ordinance that will prohibit, children from selling, in the street. They are vulnerable. Even children that hold the hands of visually impaired, people. Those children, they are arrested. So we ensure that this joint committee will ensure that we prohibit, street children, on the part of the children.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.